Welcome to English Codebreaker. Really glad you could join us. Today we're doing a deep dive, really trying to unlock English fluency for you. We hear from so many of you that you're keen to learn English, maybe tackle it on your own, but yeah, it could feel a bit much, right? Like, where do you even begin? It's easy to feel overwhelmed. So consider this your guide. We want to arm you with some, essential tips, maybe a few surprising insights to make that self-study journey really effective. Our goal here is to help you get well-informed quickly about how to learn English well independently.
That's absolutely the mission. We've sifted through a whole stack of research, learner feedback, all the sources you sent, and we're going to pull out 5 sort of core tips for self-study. But then we're really going to dive deep, no pun intended, into what just about everything points to as the absolute bedrock.
Vocabulary.
Yeah, vocabulary. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it's not just about knowing what to learn, but really getting why these things matter. Understanding the why makes the whole process click, makes it more effective, and honestly more enjoyable too. Less rote, more real understanding.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Let's jump into part 1 then. The 5 essential tips for self-directed English learning. And like you said, digging through the materials, one thing just popped out immediately, almost everywhere. It feels foundational. Simple, maybe, but really powerful. Start with the basics vocabulary.
Exactly. It sounds almost too obvious, maybe, but it's so often underestimated. Our sources are really clear. Vocabulary isn't just part of the language, it's the actual building blocks. Think about it like trying to build a house with no bricks. It just doesn't work.
Right.
Without a decent grasp of words, you fundamentally can't understand what you're reading or hearing properly. And expressing your own thoughts. Forget about it, not clearly anyway. A common mistake is people trying to learn really complex grammar, but they don't have enough words to actually use the grammar with.
Putting the cart before the horse, kind of.
Precisely. So the smart approach. Start with the words you'll actually use most often. High-frequency stuff. It's fascinating, actually. Some research suggests that learning just the top 3,000 most common English words, that can unlock something like 95% of everyday conversation.
Wow, 95% just from 3,000 words? That's a huge return.
It really is. It's a massive efficiency hack for getting comprehension up quickly. So focus on those basics first. Greetings, numbers, common verbs, nouns you see all the time. And thankfully, we live in an age where resources are everywhere. Use online dictionaries, apps like Duolingo or Memrise are pretty good for this, dedicated websites, but don't just passively look them up. Our sources really push for active methods, making flashcards digital or physical, doing quizzes, and crucially, getting exposure through simple English media, short news articles, movie clips, podcasts designed for learners.
Okay, so build that word bank first. That 3,000-word target is really motivating, actually. It makes it feel achievable. Once you have some of those basic bricks, what's next? The second tip seems to be about momentum. Practice regularly.
Yeah, and again, sounds simple, but the why is important here. It's not just about repetition for repetition's sake. It's about how our brains work. Consistency, even in short bursts, is way more effective for memory, for building habits, than, say, one huge study session once a week.
So little and often beats cramming.
Absolutely. Think 15, maybe 20 minutes every day. It taps into how memory consolidates. It makes the language feel less foreign, more natural over time. Your brain gets used to it. It moves from conscious effort towards something more automatic.
Brain habituation, I like that. And what does that practice look like? Is it just grammar drills?
Oh, no, definitely not just drills. It should be varied. Actively read stuff in English books, articles, watch movies or TV shows. Maybe start with subtitles in English, then try without. Listen to English music, podcasts. And this is key. Actually try to speak. Even if it's just to yourself initially, the key is just showing up consistently. Perfection isn't the goal, the regular engagement is.
Okay, consistency is king. Training the brain, not just cramming. That makes sense. Which leads us really nicely into tip number 3, moving beyond just you and the book or the app. Engage in conversation.
Yes, this is where the rubber really meets the road. Speaking isn't just performing, it's learning in action. When you try to speak, you get immediate feedback, even if it's just internal. It helps your pronunciation. It forces you to recall vocabulary actively. And you naturally start refining your grammar as you try to piece sentences together in real time.
But finding people to talk to can be tricky for self-learners.
Right.
That's often a big barrier.
It used to be a much bigger hurdle for sure, but now there are great options. Our sources point to finding language exchange partners online. There are platforms like Pandem or HelloTalk specifically for this. Or join online communities, Facebook groups, forums, Discord servers dedicated to English practice. Lots of active places.
Hmm.
And here's something really interesting and maybe a bit unexpected for some listeners. AI.
AI, like talking to a chatbot.
Exactly. Tools like ChatGPT can be incredibly useful for conversation practice. You can literally ask it to roleplay, act as a language partner, have a debate, even ask it to correct your mistakes gently. It's a safe space, low pressure, great for building confidence before talking to real humans.
Wow, yeah. Using AI as a practice buddy without fear of judgment, that's actually brilliant. A real modern advantage for learning on your own. So engaging actively. And that idea of integrating English, it ties into the fourth tip. Use English in your daily life.
This one's about immersion, essentially creating your own English-speaking environment wherever you are. It goes beyond dedicated study time. Our sources suggest weaving English into your everyday routine. So instead of reading the news in your native language, read it in English.
Okay.
Watch TV shows or movies in English. Listen to English podcasts or music while you're commuting or doing chores. Change your phone's language setting to English. Your computer, too.
Little changes that add up.
Exactly. But there's a deeper level to this, too, which is really powerful. Try to actually think in English.
Think in English. How does that work?
Well, you could try narrating your day to yourself, silently in your head. Describe the things you see around you. Plan out a difficult conversation mentally in English. Solve simple problems in English. It builds what linguists sometimes call cognitive fluency. You're training your brain to process thoughts directly in English rather than constantly translating back and forth.
Cutting out the middleman, the mental translation step.
Precisely. It makes your English feel much more intuitive, more natural over time. It's about making English part of your internal world, not just something external you study.
That's fascinating. Building an internal English environment. I like that. Okay, that's a big one. And finally, the fifth tip, which sort of underpins all of these, especially for self-learners, take advantage of online resources.
Absolutely. The internet has just completely transformed language learning. There's an almost overwhelming amount of stuff out there, much of it free. Whatever your learning style, whatever your interest, there's something for you. Our sources highlight things like dedicated learning websites. The BBC has a great one, VOA Learning English too. News sites often have simplified English versions, countless blogs explaining grammar points, vocabulary lists, even full online courses from universities or platforms like Coursera. Many offer free components or audits.
Right. There's so much.
And YouTube gets a special mention pretty much everywhere. It's incredibly versatile. You can find entertaining vlogs, documentaries, great for just soaking up natural language, but also really specific lessons on grammar points, pronunciation coaching, explanations of idioms.
Everything from casual chat to technical breakdowns.
Exactly. The key is finding content you actually enjoy. If you're interested in cooking, find English cooking channels. If you love gaming, watch English streams. It makes the learning feel less like a chore and much more sustainable.
Okay, so leverage the digital world, find what you like, and integrate it. Got it.
Right, let's just unpack this a bit then. We've gone through 5 really solid tips. Start with vocabulary, practice regularly, engage in conversation, use English daily, and leverage online resources. But you mentioned earlier, and it came up as tip number 1, that vocabulary is kind of the big one. Our sources seem to hammer this home. So for this next part of our deep dive, let's circle back. Why is vocabulary treated as this absolute cornerstone? What makes it the master key, really, beyond just, needing words to talk?
Yeah, exactly. It's more profound than just needing words. The sources are really emphatic. Why vocabulary is key. Simply put, without a decent vocabulary, your ability to do anything effectively in the language is severely limited. Fundamentally, you can't truly understand the nuances of what you read or hear. You can't express your own thoughts with any clarity, accuracy, or importantly, subtlety.
It's like trying to paint with only primary colors. That's a great analogy, exactly. Building a strong vocabulary isn't just about collecting words. It's about laying the foundation for all the other skills to develop properly. Think about it. How can you understand grammar rules about sentence structure if you don't know the words that make up the sentences?
True.
How can you read widely if you're constantly stopping to look things up? How can you write clearly if you don't have the precise words? How can you speak fluently if you're always pausing, searching for a word? A strong vocabulary helps you pick up on cultural references, understand implied meanings, grasp the speaker's or writer's true intent. It's the engine. It powers everything else, makes it all easier.
Okay, that really clarifies it. It's not just a skill. It underpins all the skills. It's the fuel for the language engine. So if it's that crucial, what are the big payoffs? What kind of doors does focusing on vocabulary really open up for a learner? Let's talk about the benefits of increasing your vocabulary.
Oh, the benefits are huge. Really transformative for the learner. First, the most obvious one. Effective communication. When your vocabulary grows, you just naturally understand more. You move past just getting the general idea to catching subtleties, tone, specific word choices.
Right.
And crucially, it empowers you to express yourself better, more accurately, more precisely. You're not stuck using vague words like thing or stuff all the time.
You can find the right word.
Exactly. And the result, you connect better with native speakers. It feels more authentic. You can join conversations more confidently, share your opinions clearly, make your point effectively. Whether it's chatting socially or presenting at work, it turns you from a passive understander into an active, confident communicator. Second big benefit, really enhancing your understanding of English media. Imagine watching your favorite English movie or reading a book you love and actually getting everything. Every joke, every cultural nod, the subtle wordplay, the character nuances, the plot twists.
Without constantly reaching for a dictionary or relying on subtitles.
Precisely. A richer vocabulary lets you enjoy media more fully, appreciate the creator's skill and intent. You pick up on things you'd otherwise miss. You're not just decoding words, you're engaging with the meaning, the culture, the story on a much deeper level.
That sounds much more enjoyable for sure.
Definitely. And finally, circling back to what we said earlier, it's the foundation for other skills. This is the ripple effect. Investing time in vocabulary directly helps your grammar. You see how words work together in patterns. It boosts your reading comprehension massively. You can tackle more complex texts. It improves your writing. You can articulate ideas clearly and persuasively. And it improves your speaking. You sound more fluent, more accurate, more confident because the words are just there when you need them.
So it really lifts everything else up with it.
It truly does. It underpins pretty much every aspect of becoming proficient in English.
Okay, convinced. Vocabulary is vital. So let's get practical. We know why, we know the benefits. What are some concrete, actionable strategies for building vocabulary that our sources really recommend? How can listeners start doing this effectively, like right now?
Great question. Let's get into the how. The sources offer some really effective, practical strategies. One tool that comes up again and again, and it's a real powerhouse, is Anki.
Anki, right? The flashcard app you mentioned.
Yeah, but it's more than just digital flashcards. It uses something called spaced repetition. It's clever. The algorithm figures out when you're most likely to forget a word and shows it to you right before you do. It's incredibly efficient for moving words into your long-term memory.
So it optimizes your review time automatically.
Exactly. You make cards with the word, meaning maybe an example sentence. You can add images, audio too. Multisensory learning helps. It just works really well for retention. Another really useful strategy involves using context websites, tools like Lingway or Reverso Context.
How do they differ from a standard dictionary?
They show you words used in real sentences, pulled from actual texts, online articles, translations, etc., so you see the word in action in different situations. This is so important for understanding nuances, connotations like, does this word feel formal or informal? What other words does it usually appear with? You learn idioms, phrasal verbs naturally this way.
So you learn how to use the word, not just what it means in isolation.
Precisely. It moves you from recognition to actual usage understanding. Then there's the power of active practice. This sounds simple, but it's critical. Don't just learn words passively, actively use them. Make a conscious effort to slip new words into sentences you write or speak, even if you're just talking to yourself or using that AI practice buddy we talked about.
Right.
Try thinking in English using the new words. This active retrieval and usage really cements the words in your brain. It helps you develop that nuanced feel for them. It's the difference between knowing about a word and truly owning it.
Makes sense. You have to actually do something with it.
Absolutely. And finally, never underestimate the power of reading. Just read. Read widely. Fiction, nonfiction, articles, blogs, whatever interests you. Reading exposes you to tons of new vocabulary in its natural habitat, in context. It improves your comprehension at the same time, and you often learn words almost subconsciously. Try to pick things slightly above your current level, challenging enough to learn, but not so hard you give up. Graded readers can be great starting points, too.
Those are fantastic, really concrete strategies. Anki, context sites, active use, and reading. Okay, so to wrap up this vocabulary deep dive, could you distill it down even further? What are the absolute key tips for effective vocabulary learning, the main takeaways?
Sure, let's boil it down. 4 key things. 1, focus on common words first. Get those high-frequency words down. That gives you the most immediate benefit and builds a solid base. Don't try to learn obscure words too early. 2, Use spaced repetition. Whether it's Anki or another system, leverage this science-backed technique. It optimizes learning and saves you time in the long run by focusing review where it's needed.
Right, work smarter.
Exactly. 3. Practice active recall. Don't just passively review. Test yourself. Cover the definition, try to recall it. Use the word in a sentence without looking. This active effort strengthens memory pathways much more than passive reading. And 4, arguably the most important, always learn words in context. Don't just memorize lists of isolated words. See how they're used in sentences and situations. This helps you understand the meaning deeply and remember it better, and crucially, use it correctly yourself.
Focus common, use spaced repetition, practice active recall, and learn in context.
Got it. That's a really clear framework. So yeah, to kind of bring this all together, learning English on your own, it definitely takes dedication, it takes consistency, and as we've seen, a smart approach. And vocabulary, well, it's not just one piece of the puzzle. Our sources really suggest it's the foundational piece. The key, really, to unlocking fluency. If you dedicate real, focused time to building that word bank, and crucially, practice using those words actively, in context, you absolutely can make huge progress and reach your goals. A strong vocabulary doesn't just mean knowing more words, it means communicating better, understanding more deeply, and expressing yourself with confidence and precision. It opens up the language and maybe even the world.
Absolutely, that's a powerful summary. And for you, our listener listening right now, just remember, please don't be afraid of mistakes. Seriously, they're not failures. They're just data points on your learning journey. Embrace them. Stay motivated. Find ways to keep it fun. Celebrate the small wins along the way. And just keep practicing. You really, truly got this. And now, as we wrap up, here's a little something to chew on until our next deep dive. How might really deepening your understanding of vocabulary, getting those nuances, those connections, how might that not just improve how you communicate, but actually reshape how you connect with other cultures, other ways of seeing things? Could unlocking vocabulary unlock entirely new ways of thinking? It's something to consider. Thanks for joining us on English